Miyano Yoshikazu catches a fight behind the school. He calls his friend Hirano Tega and informs him of what is happening. The fight was not fair and Miyano wanted to intervene, but he was stopped by Sasaki Shomei. He said that he will take care of it and asked him to keep an eye on his things. The boy admired his behavior. They met again on the way to school. Sasaki told Miyano that he looks very cute. Senpai started sticking up for the guy everywhere. Miyano often speaks in terms from the manga, which interests Sasaki. He asks for some manga to recommend him. The guy lands him one volume. He warns him not to read it in public. The next day the guys meet in the hallway. Sasaki finished the manga and started to share his impressions. But Miyano pulls him away and tells not to talk about it in public anymore. Sasaki didn't understand what the problem, but he liked the manga about guy relationships anyway. Miyano was happy about it, and the newly minted yaoi fan asks him to borrow another one. As a thank for the manga, he brought him cookies to class. Classmates Toshiro and Kurosawa are interested in how close they are. Hirano comes over to apologize to the guy for his classmate being clingy with him. He's the one who told Sasaki what class he's from. He'll try to keep the annoying guy in check. Sasaki came to return the manga and Miyano dragged him away. The guy liked the second manga as well. Miyano marks the manga he likes to make it easier to recommend new. After classes, Sasaki asks him about his tastes in food. Miyano can't eat a lot of sweets, but doesn't mind the soda. Sasaki remembers the first time they met. He was immediately attracted to the guy. After he broke up the fight, Hirano came over and Sasaki asked him about the guy. He really wanted to see him again. Miyano thought he was sick while the guy was memorizing. In the morning, they met on the train. Miyano thanked Senpai for the cookies. As it turned out, he was good at baking. A rain was coming. Sasaki sank back into his memories. He was bored in class. Suddenly, Miyano entered the classroom. He was handing papers to Hirano. Sasaki couldn't believe he wasn't a girl. Even felt him up. Hirano stood up for the guy. He pushed the bully away. It was raining. Sasaki didn't have an umbrella. Miyano came over and suggested he walk to the station together. After reminiscing, Sasaki woke up in class. In order to ride the train with the guy, he got up early. Because of it, he was sleepy all day. Miyano brought a new manga to his class and decided to treat him with some candy. As it turned out, the candy was with alcohol. Sasaki got sick. The guy brought him a drink. Senpai remembered how he was beaten and Miyano helped him with a band-aid. He likes the boy's hands. It's the first time he's experienced such feelings. He asked him to become his boyfriend. Miyano thought it was a joke, but Sasaki loves him ever since. End of the school day. Sasaki calls Miyano to go home together. Hirano is surprised that they became so close. Miyano tells his senpai to go alone since he wants to go to the bookstore, but he doesn't listen to him and follows him. Miyano asks him to let him go alone. Sasaki guesses that he's going to buy yaoi, but doesn't realize what the problem. But the guy is just afraid of what people will think if two guys buy yaoi together. Sasaki waited for him at another stall. The students are eating lunch in class. Sasaki's here. He needs a new manga. Kurosawa is surprised that a high school student is reading yaoi. Miyano doesn't know how it happened. He asks Sasaki and Guy replies that he just wants to get to know his lover better. The boy is very confused. He can't tell if Sasaki is joking. Miyano sits with his headphones on. Sasaki walks over and puts in one of his headphones. It was playing yaoi. Even he was amazed to be listening to something like that right at school. Still, he wondered what it was. At recess, Sasaki suggested a game to Miyano. They have to chew on a stick together, and the first one to bounce off loses. He refuses, but doesn't mind eating the sticks. Sasaki liked Guy eating from his hand. Senpai is afraid that he's going to do something to him, so he decides he needs to distance himself a bit. Miyano fills out a journal. Toshiro asks him if he's dating that high school student. The guy denies it. Kurosawa says Sasaki is a good person. He protected him from bullies. At the end of the day, Sasaki hadn't shown up. Miyano thinks about going home himself, but the guy shows up abruptly. He asked if the boy was often hit on. Miyano replied that he wasn't very popular. Sasaki wondered why he started reading yaoi. The boy said he bought manga and accidentally took yaoi. After that, he got hooked on it. Sasaki thought it was really cute. The guys had known each other for a year. The two have become good friends. Today is Valentine's Day. Senpai took the guy to the candy store. Sasaki came to school early. They have exams coming up and Hirano is going to help him study. While waiting for him, Senpai suggests Miyano sit together. Sasaki has a sensitive tongue. Miyano says that people with sensitive tongues are bad kissers. Sasaki offers him to test it out. Miyano was confused. He hands him a new manga and leaves for class. Sasaki's sad he refused to kiss. He wants to at least touch the guy. Miyano fantasized in class. He still doesn't know if Sasaki is joking or not. After classes, he remembers that he forgot to give Sasaki another volume of manga. Kurosawa said he'd wait. In class, Miyano found Sasaki being questioned about reading yaoi. The boy was afraid he will be bullied, but Senpai easily resolved the situation. Because of his coolness, Miyano couldn't stand it and ran away. However, he still worries that he will be bullied in the future. Sasaki came to his class. He had already finished the manga. They agreed to go to the bookstore together. Another month has passed. Miyano asks Hirano where Sasaki is. Senpai calls him out of class. They are happy to see each other. It's White Day and the guy decided to thank Sasaki for the Valentine's Day candy. They both got embarrassed. Senpai asked to wait for him and ran to the classroom. He was too embarrassed. Took his backpack full of candy and brought it to the boy. Sasaki only had a year left to study. Hirano is now a brunette. They made him color his hair for the lineup at school. He doesn't really like it. Sasaki and their classmate Ogasawara Jiru came. Classmate immediately pointed the finger at the yaoi lover. He found out when he spotted Sasaki reading. He doesn't like yaoi because his girlfriend is a fan, and he's afraid she wants him to start dating a man. The guys went to the bookstore looking for a new manga. Sasaki wanted to hug Miyano but held back. On the way home, boy fell asleep on his shoulder. Sasaki whispered something to him and he woke up. It's time for Senpai to leave. Miyano spent the rest of the trip thinking about his words. He whispered that he loves him. It's already March. Hirano scolds his classmates for not returning their natural hair color before exams. Graduation is a year away. Kurosawa tells Miyano that he saw Sasaki working at a bakery during holidays. Miyano is a little upset that he didn't know anything about it. The guys meet on the train. Sasaki is happy about it. A seat opens up and Miyano sits down Sasaki. Senpai offers to at least let him hold his bag and finds a book in it. It's a yaoi novel. He was immediately interested. On the way to school, Sasaki took a petal out of the boy's hair. In the hallway, they were discussing yaoi manga. Miyano was pushed at Senpai and both of them felt something at that moment. Miyano can't get the declarations of love out of his head. He continues to be convinced that it wasn't a joke, but he likes girls despite his fascination with yaoi. However, he begins to have doubts and even imagines different things with the guy. Sasaki can no longer keep his feelings to himself. At school, Miyano meets Ogasawara. The guy has a fight with his girlfriend, and since she is a yaoi fan, he decides to ask an expert for advice. Miyano calms him down and says that even though he looks like the characters in the manga she reads, she loves him for who he is. She doesn't want anything yaoi from him. Ogasawara thanks him. Sasaki heard their conversation and rushed over to Miyano. When he saw his classmate, he calmed down. The guys went their separate ways. Miyano realizes that he has some kind of feelings for Sasaki. He doesn't understand and he's scared. And Sasaki continues to suffer from love. Sports festival. Kurosawa goes to fetch water for Miyano, and the guy decides to wash up. He meets Sasaki, and they sit down to chat. They really enjoy talking to each other. Sasaki hopes that they will be able to spend time together after graduation, and once again confesses love to the guy. This time it doesn't sound like a joke. Miyano was confused and could not answer. Sasaki was glad that at least he didn't hear the rejection and told him to take his time. Miyano decided to ask him what he likes about him. Senpai was confused and said the face. When he was alone, he regretted his rash answer. He likes a lot of things about the guy. To the sad Sasaki came Hirano. It's time to enter the race. Miyano was very hurt by the senpai's answer, since he's been told his whole life about his feminine face. He even grew bangs to make it less visible. During a school board meeting, Hirano suggested that uniforms should be checked at the entrance of the school during tests. And Miyano noticed that the boy himself doesn't conform to the rules because of his colored hair. He wonders why he started dyeing. In fact, he just likes being blonde. Toward the end of class, Miyano fell asleep at his desk. Hirano asked Sasaki to watch him. While he slept, Senpai couldn't resist and touched his lips through his mask. When the boy woke up, he was sent home. Hirano suspected that something had happened between the guys. Sasaki told him everything. The blonde told him not to whine and to talk to the guy normally. Sasaki listened and called Miyano. He told him that he adored everything about him, not just his face, and said goodbye. The guy got very embarrassed and Hirano got angry. He expected normal talk. In the morning, guys meet at the train station. Sasaki gets off early to ride together. He also watched a yaoi anime recently and liked it a lot. Miyano decides that he will not reject the relationship, even though he likes girls, and will think it over. At school, he remembers that Sasaki's birthday is coming up. Kurosawa wonders what the boy will get him, but he doesn't have any ideas yet, and afraid because Sasaki expects respond to the confession. Kurosawa tells Teshiro how he fell in love with his girlfriend. The next day, guys meet again on the train. Sasaki is afraid that if he does not pass the exam well, he will be beaten by Hirano. In honor of his birthday, Miyano gave him a lollipop and was very embarrassed. The next day was hot. The students remembered the day they first met. Miyano can't make up his mind to give an answer. He can't even read yaoi manga with students. The exams are over. It started to rain. Miyano didn't have an umbrella, but Sasaki did. They went to the station together. Ogasawara had reconciled with his girlfriend. Miyano dares to ask Sasaki if he likes guys. Sasaki replies that no, he is attracted to girls, but Miyano is an exception. He thanks the guy for deciding to think about the answer to the confession after all. Miyano says that he really likes Sasaki, but as a friend, and he is not attracted to guys. However, he is starting to feel something and asks for more time to sort out his feelings. Sasaki is pleased by his words. He is pleased that the guy is thinking about him. He tells to think as much as he wants and that he will always love him. The discipline club is discussing the upcoming festival. There will be a dress-up contest. Miyano has been chosen to represent the class. It's a kind of beauty contest where guys will wear women's outfits. The class believes that the guy is their key to victory. Kurosawa volunteered to participate with him. Thanks to Sasaki, Miyano is less self-conscious about his face. Hanzawa Masato offers to lend him a suit. He's the head of Hirano and Sasaki's class. His sister is an otaku, so he has a large collection of costumes. Masato offers to play cards. The loser will have to close the class. When Sasaki enters the club room, he sees the guys playing. Masato gave him his cards and asked to continue for him. Miyano lost. He told Sasaki that he can go home, but the guy wanted to be with his lover. At home, Miyano had yaoi thoughts in his head. The next day, he and Sasaki went home together. Senpai said that he had recommended a yaoi manga to his sister. Miyano was a little embarrassed. Sasaki went for a drink, and Miyano met Makimura now. She used to study with him. The girl draws, so she offered him to be a model. She used to want to dress him in women's clothes and draw him, but now she finds him more masculine. Miyano hadn't been able to be so casual with girls before. They wanted to compare palms, but Sasaki came in and stopped them. He dragged the guy away. When they were alone, Sasaki asked if it was the girl he was in love with. Miyano said it was, but the feelings were long gone. Sasaki calmed down and apologized for dragging him like that. The next morning, Sasaki continued to think about that situation. The thought that that girl might like Miyano made him angry. He met Kurosawa, his girlfriend, in a hospital nearby, and he forgot his notebook there. The guy visits his sweetheart regularly. He suggests going to see her together, but Sasaki refuses. He meets Miyano on the train and gives him his music to listen to. As it turns out, they have very similar tastes. Sasaki said he'd lend him a CD. He'd also recently bought a sequel to a yaoi manga that a guy had lent him. Miyano was surprised and delighted. Sasaki was embarrassed by the look on his face, so he ran to class. The guys heard a scream. Ogasawara was arguing with his girlfriend on the phone. He asked Miyano to translate his girlfriend's words. She asked if he likes yaoi with bad guys. The answer was yes. Sasaki was interested in the conversation. Ogasawara said to put it on speaker. Turns out he found a yaoi picture in her notebook and said he wanted to be alone for some time. She didn't like it. She said she'd come to him. Ogasawara wanted to run away, but the guys stopped him. She came over, hit the guy, and they left together. Sasaki and Miyano decided to go to the bookstore. Sasaki remarked that they look like a couple when they go home together. Miyano said it was more like two friends. Senpai replied that they are not just two friends. Masato brought costumes for the contest. Toshiro mistook Kurosawa for a girl. Miyano asked not to give him ideas. He doesn't want to imagine yaoi with his friends. Masato offered to do Miyano's costume tomorrow. The next morning the guy was very sleepy since he had been reading all night. Sasaki immediately noticed the bags under his eyes. He also liked the hairpin and wanted to kiss him on the forehead, but then asked to take it off because he wasn't used to it. Masato came to help with the costume. He asked to take a picture for his sister and gave him a fan to cover his face. Miyano asked if he knew what love is. Masato answered that it is a constant desire to be near, to touch, to do something for someone. The boy wondered what he would want to do for Sasaki. He was very confused by the topic of love. Masato added that it is also when you think about someone all day long. Miyano thought about Sasaki all day long. Kurosawa reincarnated and sent a photo to his girlfriend. He wanted to take a picture of Miyano for Sasaki, but thought he wouldn't like if someone else took his girlfriend's picture. The guys went out to do some business, and Sasaki came to Miyano. The guy was embarrassed. Sasaki's mood soured when he found out about the competition, but he tried to control himself. He asked what Guy would do if he told him not to participate. Miyano said that he will go now and ask someone to replace him, but Senpai grabbed his arm. He hugged the guy, and in Miyano's mind popped love. He was in love after all. The guys almost kissed, but Sasaki's hand slipped. He said he was joking, and Miyano can enter the contest. Sasaki stroked his face and walked away. Kurosawa came back and saw the embarrassed guy. The next day Miyano couldn't calm down. He was overwhelmed with different thoughts, including a kiss. Miyano also couldn't decide whether to refuse to participate in the competition or not. The next day he told Sasaki that he would not refuse. He doesn't want to let the others down and wants to see it through. Senpai wished him good luck in the contest. Miyano also offered to take a walk at the festival when they will be free. Sasaki caught a cold. Hirano told him to go home so he wouldn't miss the festival. Sasaki went to the nurse's office. He doesn't want Miyano to parade around in front of the guys, but accepted it. In the hallway they meet. The nurse wasn't in the office. Miyano got a little burned. Sasaki kept sneezing. The guy gave him a thermometer, told to lie down, and brought him a blanket. Sasaki had a fever, and Miyano offered to walk him home. Sasaki was very embarrassed because of how thoughtful he was. Miyano went to find a nurse. The day of the festival came. Kurosawa and Miyano decided to take a walk. Sasaki's class organized a bully cafe with fortune-telling. Senpai didn't expect to see the boys. There were tables and a fortune-telling tent inside. Kurosawa went for a prediction. Sasaki said that they should talk cheekily to the visitors, but to Miyano he can't. Kurosawa returned from the fortune-telling tent. He couldn't choose a yaoi manga to give to his girlfriend. Miyano decided to go there too. Masato is in charge of fortune-telling. The guy asked how to figure out feelings. He got the never give up card. Masato said he's sure Miyano is one step away from fully understanding his feelings. He hopes things work out well for him. Sasaki got free and they decided to go for a walk together. It was time for the beauty contest. Miyano was very nervous. He looked great, but lost. Sasaki cheered him up. He offered to change his clothes and the guy ran away. The guys met in the hallway before the closing ceremony. Senpai said it was his best festival ever thanks to his beloved. Miyano asked him to wait a little longer for a response to his confession. Sasaki pressed against him and said he would wait. Miyano wants to tell him that he loves him, but he's afraid that he's wrong about his feelings and will break the guy's heart. During the weekend, they meet at the mall. Sasaki was with his sister and Ogasawara. She made the guys help pick out clothes for her boyfriend. Ogasawara was alone with Miyano and asked what the guy thought of Sasaki. Senpai came over and told him to stop hitting on him. Ogasawara had some business and left the guys. Miyano said he is going to a yaoi movie and Sasaki wanted to go with him. They liked the movie, especially Miyano. The girls thought they were dating. Before the guy could get upset, his senpai cheered him up right away. Miyano didn't know what it could be but love. He almost confessed his love to him in public. Masato was watching them. The guys drove to school together in the morning, but he couldn't confess in public. And he doesn't know how to say how he feels. The boy decided he will do it the next time he see him. Christmas is coming up. It's said that if you start dating before Christmas, you'll break up quickly. Miyano doesn't want to risk it. The next morning, he wanted to ask if they could meet for Christmas, but Sasaki's exams are after Christmas, so he was afraid to disturb him. However, the senpai himself suggested they meet up and go to a yaoi exhibition. Before Christmas, Miyano met Masato at the mall. His brother thought they were dating, and after the guy left, asked him if he had feelings for him. Masato said he likes girls. Both of his brothers like guys, and his mom was glad that at least he liked girls. At school, Miyano couldn't catch Sasaki alone. Christmas vacation was over, and he wanted to confess his love. At the end of the day, they were finally alone. Sasaki asked why Miyano was always throwing his bag over his other shoulder. The guy replied that it was to avoid hitting him accidentally. Suddenly, the new chairman called Miyano. Sasaki, impressed with the guy's kindness and overwhelmed with emotion, pressed him against the wall and almost kissed. Then he apologized and started to leave. Miyano shouted after him to wait for him. The guy looked into the classroom and said he would come back tomorrow. He ran outside, but the senpai was gone. Hirano and Masato came out of the school. He asked Hirano to call Sasaki. Masato asked the guy if they are dating with Sasaki. Miyano said no, but he loves him. Masato talked about his brothers and how it's not easy for them to love guys. Hirano said Sasaki not picking up the phone, and he's probably helping the family at the bakery. Miyano ran. Hirano recorded Sasaki's voice message and said he forgot something at school for a guy to go meet Miyano. Sasaki feels bad about forcing the guy. He decided to apologize tomorrow. Miyano wanted to kiss senpai. They met at the station and decided to go somewhere else. Sasaki apologized for his insistence. Miyano said he loves him. Senpai asked to say it again. The boy said it again and told him all his feelings. He took his hand. They hugged and kissed. Miyano liked it. It was his first kiss. He suggested they start dating. Sasaki laughed at such a formality. He kissed him. They finally exchanged phone numbers. Hirano couldn't wake up for a long time, but today he has to wake up his neighbor. His name is Akira. The guy says he won't get up until Hirano wears the earrings he gave him. Hirano agrees to his terms and Akira goes to basketball training. Akira is in love with his neighbor. The guy wakes him up because they were complained about because of the noise of a bunch of alarm clocks. Miyano accidentally overhears him telling his friend how he feels. In the dormitory, Hirano treated his roommate to cookies that he made himself. The guy was so happy that he choked. Hirano also told him that he would like to find a girl as sincere as him. Akira was hopeful. He even tried to hint to the guy about his feelings, but Hirano didn't understand. Miyano reflects on his feelings for Sasaki. They started dating a while ago. The guy came to see him. Since it was cold, Miyano shared a heating pad with him. Also gave him a manga for good luck. Senpai is taking an exam today. Miyano hugged him and cheered up. At school, classmates asked Miyano what it liked to date a guy. He said it is no different from a normal relationship. Tashiro really wants a girlfriend. He works at a public bathhouse, but there are only old ladies there. The exams are over. Soon guys won't go to the same school. Senpai always wants to feel Miyano, but he tries to control himself. The next day, Miyano wanted to go for a walk with his lover, but Sasaki was sick, so the guy came to check on him. Senpai apologized for not being able to go out. Miyano wanted to caress the sick guy, but Sasaki's sister came into the room. She called brother's friend to get some food, and while he was gone, Sasaki fell asleep. He woke up and asked if his lover had kissed him while he slept. They ate and Miyano was about to leave. Sasaki kissed him through his mask. Time was running out for the guys. They had procrastinated too long with their relationship, so now they were trying to make up for lost time. Miyano told his mom that he would be making sweets not alone and not at home. She thought they were going to make them to give to girls, but her son immediately confessed that he is in love with a guy. She asked him to introduce her to him and offered to invite him to dinner. The guys together prepared sweets and treated Miyano's mom. Sasaki gave his lover a cupcake, and Miyano packed him coffee as best he could. But he promised to give a real gift next year. Sasaki successfully passed all the exams. His sister suggested going to celebrate, but he went to school. On the way he met Ogasawara. The classmate didn't understand why Sasaki was going to school, but quickly guessed that it was because of Miyano. He still couldn't believe that the guys are dating, but out of curiosity he asked who was on top and who was on the bottom. Sure, he didn't get an answer. At school, Sasaki told Miyano about passing the exam and asked for a reward. He wanted to sit in a yaoi pose, and of course to kiss his lover. Miyano got nervous and said he won't be passive. After that, he offered to kiss again. Sasaki wanted more and didn't care if he would be bottom or top. When Miyano was home at 12 a.m., Sasaki called him to wish him a happy birthday. He wanted to be the first to do it. In the afternoon, Sasaki brought the guy a cake and fed him. He made it not too sweet, just how Miyano likes. They kissed each other. The sister came into the room and Sasaki told her that they are dating. She ran out of the room. The brother didn't care, but Miyano asked to catch up with her. Sasaki offered to go together. When they found her, the girl immediately apologized. She didn't expect her brother to go out with a guy. Miyano said it was okay and cheered her up. Tomorrow is graduation. A classmate drew a kiss on Sasaki's cheek. Miyano saw it and ran away. Senpai ran after him. He caught up with him and said it was just a joke. No one kissed him. Miyano said he realized it right away, but still felt jealous. Sasaki hugged him. He was happy to know he was loved so much. Here comes the graduation. Miyano congratulated the senpai. Sasaki gave the guy his jacket. Miyano was sad that they wouldn't be going to the same school anymore. They decided to walk around it one last time. As they walked down the corridors, they reminisced about their time together. Kurosawa looked out the window and almost saw them kiss. Their story is not over yet.